Hey, hi, hello, ladies. How's it going? How's it going? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing well. Me, I'm doing all right. I'm doing fine. Thank you so much for asking. You know who it is. I am Dan Frampton, all one word, the O's a zero, and you know that I am the internet's most ruthless gatekeeper. And today we got some band drama to go through. We got these bands out there from the alternative underground scene, maybe a metalcore band here, maybe a pop punk band over there, but either way, they can't stop losing members and gaining members and just having a bunch of internal drama. And today, we got all of this bullshit to go through, and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. So hit like, press subscribe, throw me some hype points, whatever the hell those are, and today, let's get into this drama. The first thing is going to be with this band called Better Lovers. Now, the thing with this band is they just lost their singer, okay? Now, you might be thinking, who the hell are Better Lovers? Well, back in 2022, there was this band called Every Time I Die, and they broke up. They were a long time going band at this point. Maybe they were around since like the early 2000s or whatever. Very popular metalcore band. They weren't really my favorite kind of thing. But in 2022, their singer over here, Keith Buckley, well, he caused a bunch of internal drama within the band because like a year prior to this, he went on a bit of a hiatus of his own, being like, oh, they're ostracizing me, and I don't know, kind of going on a bit of a pity party or whatever. Then they kind of got back together for a little bit, but it didn't go so well, and it kind of boiled over, bled to the online sphere, and they had to break up. They cited mental health and substance abuse concerns, all surrounding Keith Buckley. I'm not sure about any of that. I know that he was very vocal and outspoken and that kind of thing. And at this time, Every Time I Die's guitar player, Andy Williams, well, he was hired over there in AEW being a wrestler, although he wasn't really booked that well or that much, to be honest. And I think that that company could have done a lot more with him, but that's neither here nor there. So the next year, some members of that band, primarily Jordan Buckley, Stephen McKitchie, and Goose, the drummer over here, and they went over and they started Better Lovers. Now, to be honest, I like these graphics a lot more than I like the music. And the music is very good, not gonna lie. It's just not really 100% my thing. I'm not really a metalcore kid, and this is just more metalcore stuff. But this metalcore has a lot of personality. It's pretty heavy. It's pretty catchy. You can dance to this stuff. You can mosh to this stuff, if that's the kind of thing that you're into. So those former members of Every Time I Die got together with Will Putney, who's like a record producer. He was in bands like End and Fit for an Autopsy, and their singer, the guy who we're talking about today, Greg Puciato.
Puciato? You say Puciato. I say Puciato. Hey, hey.
He was formerly of the band Dillinger Escape Plan and currently of the band The Black Queen, and we're going to get into that in just a very little bit. Before we start talking about the singer, let's talk about this drummer for a little bit. You see, his name is Goose, and he was in this band called Norma Jean earlier. That is going to be a very key piece of information in just a couple seconds. But before we get to the Norma Jean portion of this, remember when I mentioned The Black Queen, the other band of the singer? Well, they released some dates over here. They put out a tour poster on February 17th of 2026. That was just over a month ago as of recording this video. At this time, when the Black Queen announced this whole tour or whatever, it was still public that their singer, Greg Puciato, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Sometimes I have a hard time with words. My bad. Anyway, Greg was still in Better Lovers when the Black Queen announced this whole tour over here, and the Black Queen's fans, they were so stoked. They were like, I can't believe this is happening. I'm very stoked that this is happening. And then a couple days after that, on February 24th, just maybe a week, Better Lovers, the band, announced that Greg was in fact leaving the band. It looked like the writing was on the wall, at least behind the scenes over here, but it was made public by the band on February 24th, where they say, Better Lovers is parting ways with Greg. We're proud of the work, blah, 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 blah. To all of our fans, thank you for riding with us, da, 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 pretty boilerplate stuff, whatever, 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 you get the idea. The four of us are finishing writing a new album, which we're extremely proud of. All right, so that's a cool nugget of information. They have new music coming, and they're looking for a new singer. So it's not gonna be quite over for this band. Greg might be out of it, but the fans have quite an idea who they want to be the next singer. It was just flooded with people going, Scogin, 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 Scogin. I came here immediately to insist that Josh Scogin be the clear answer to this conundrum. Remember the band I told you to keep in mind, Norma Jean? Well, Josh Scogin used to be in the band Norma Jean, and there are some connections right there already. So there's already kind of a reason why people's flags are on high alert here. People just kept going, Josh Scogin would be the for sure. Love that. Josh, 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 Josh. All right, Josh is pretty sweet. Josh was also in this other band called The Chariot, who I loved back in the day. But, you know, they're not really a band anymore. What Josh is doing these days is he's part of this band called 68, who I fuck with heavy. I absolutely love 68. And of all the bands and all the drama I'm about to talk about on this channel and in this video particularly, 68 is the band that I wish that you would check out. They're pretty experimental, they're pretty out there, they're pretty avant-garde, but they take rock and roll and punk rock in a direction that I personally haven't heard before, and I find it extremely exciting and refreshing, okay? So all that glaze aside, Josh Scogin comes in March 20th, 3 days ago as of shooting this video. But remember, these rumors of Josh Scogin joining Better Lovers started in February. So about a month of this going over all this chatter, who's going to be the new singer? Who's going to be the new singer? Oh, it's definitely Josh. He hasn't said anything yet. It's definitely Josh. Well, Josh took to the internet, and in great 68 fashion, he did things kind of differently than everybody else does. Instead of going to the Notes app, he went to a notepad, and he literally just wrote all this out. And it's beautiful. He addressed all the rumors. To the rumors of me joining Better Lovers, he says. First of all, let me say that I am humbled and honestly flattered that folks would think of me as a good frontman, front person, for Better Lovers. That machine is such a powerhouse of greatness that even throwing my name in the mix is high praise. But as much as I love the dudes and the music, I am not joining Better Lovers. I don't really join bands, I start them. And as fun as it would be to lock ourselves in a room and create music together, I just have some other ideas brewing right now that I want to explore. Plus, it's really important to me that folks realize the story arc of 68 is a standalone story and it has nothing to do with any external situations, like joining other bands. It is its own trajectory, set in motion from the very beginning. Anyway, I'm very excited to see what's next for Better Lovers. We all chat pretty often, so I know they're really cooking. I encourage you to enjoy their story as it unfolds. Also, don't miss the season finale of 68. This May-June, very, very last show in Atlanta, June 20th. This is brilliant. I love 68 so friggin' much. They know a good story actually ends, and they're ending their band like it's a story. For a guy like me, who is extremely narrative focused, and I have no idea really what's real or what's fake, as long as it tells a story, this falls right in line with how my brain actually works. It's great. And then he finishes this off by saying, no AI was used to write this, just a dude, his thoughts, and a poor attention to punctuation and spelling. Wonderful. And as it stands right now, the lead singer of Better Lovers is still vacant. It seems pretty amicable, but there's always stuff boiling under. There's always tensions underneath. Is it creative differences? Is it financial stuff? Anyway, none of that stuff came out in the laundry during this entire drama. They kept it very professional, very beautiful. You love to see it. But as it sits right now, no new lead singer. And I have a feeling they're going to record the whole record with their new lead singer before they announce their lead singer. I don't know though. I'm really excited to see how this plays out. This is actually very, very interesting. But this is not the only band drama that's happening right now. Alkaline Trio has also found their new drummer because in 2023, their drummer, Derek Grant, left the band. So if you're not familiar with who Alkaline Trio is, well, they're this punk rock band that started in like 1996 by this Matt Skiba guy. In 1998, they put out their first record. God damn it, it was a full length or whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Music, music, music. Lineup changes. And then 2001, Derek Grant, the subject of today's video, he joins the band. He played in Vandals and many other bands, whatever. And they were a good solid unit for a long old time. And then in 2015, Matt Skiba famously joined Blink-182 when Tom DeLonge left Blink-182, and it was a very strange period in time to witness Matt Skiba doing Tom DeLonge cosplay like this with the backwards hat, the Hurley shirts. It's very cute, it's very funny. The records they put out together, not the greatest, not my favorite Blink-182 material. I don't ever go back and listen to it. Then, even more famously, in 2022, after all those years went by, Tom DeLonge was like, oh, you know what, guys? I kind of want to be back in Blink-182 if that's okay. Can you just like get that other guy out of here? You have your other band, right? That other tiny little punk rock band you do. You guys are just a bunch of little spooky boys, right? Well, go be your little spooky boy band. I'll be in my band right now. So then Matt Skiba left and Tom DeLonge entered and drama. And I have no idea if any of this is connected, but it all seems like it's connected, especially when you lay it out all like this. Where Matt Skiba comes from Alkaline Trio, who are not that big of a band, at least in comparison to Blink-182. Then, he joins Blink-182, gets a taste of the rock and roll lifestyle, becomes acquainted to this entire new world, spends so many years there. This was not just a cup of coffee. This is what, 7 years as one of the main members of Blink-182? I think they put out 2 records together. Then he gets kicked out by Tom DeLonge, has to go back to his less popular band. They put out a record, and then Derek Grant leaves. Seems like there's some connective tissue there. I'm not exactly sure. But at the time, in 2023, Derek Grant said the following, quote, "It is with mixed emotions that I've decided to step down as drummer from Alkaline Trio." Okay, so he took it into his own hands. He's a man of his own destiny, apparently. He's not gonna let one guy dictate his future. He's like, okay, this rock and roll guy came back to the band and now he's all of a sudden asking for only like red M&Ms and stuff. I'm not sure if I'm down with that. That's me speculating. Those aren't the words that Derek said. Jumping back into the quote. "The demands of being a touring band have become increasingly difficult in recent years. And while this was a difficult decision to make, it's the best thing for me and my mental health." So he's not saying it has anything to do with Matt Skiba. That's just me being a little shithead. Don't listen to me. There's nothing out there about actual drama between these guys. He wanted to step down for his mental health. And he goes on to say that he wants to thank everybody that supported the band Alkaline Trio and the fans around the world, and to Matt and Dan, and the 22 amazing years. 22 amazing years. And after Derek Grant decides to leave, Alkaline Trio, of course, they send some love. There's no real drama. It doesn't seem like anything real crazy is going on, but either way, 3 years go by without a fucking drummer. That seems like drama. Until this guy enters the picture in 2026, and it's just recently announced, as of 1 day ago, that this Tosh Peterson guy is now going to be the new drummer in Alkaline Trio. And you might be scratching your head being like, who the hell is Tosh Peterson? Well, according to his credits, he's the former drummer of Lady Gaga, Fall Out Boy, MGK, and a bunch of rappers. So that's pretty cool. At least he has some credits. At least there's some credibility going on here. And Alkaline Trio posted this to their page saying the following. "This guy, I met Tosh the drummer at Swingers a few months back for lunch to meet up and discuss the possibility of him playing with Alkaline Trio. Tosh's mom was also there, who turned out to be a fellow industry buff." A fellow industry buff. That is such an interesting way of putting that, whoever wrote this. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. Very cute, very awesome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's great, it's great, it's great. Isn't he awesome? He's like 100 years younger than them. He brings fresh blood to Alkaline Trio. And when you go to his page, he seems like an influencer. He has hundreds of thousands of followers, a lot of active, engaged users. And I'm not saying that disparagingly whatsoever. I respect that. So this is kind of cool that they chose this kind of guy, and this guy specifically with Lady Gaga connections, to fill those shoes. And now I'm thinking there might be something back to that speculation thing I was saying earlier, where now Matt Skiba wants this to be like top of the line industry stuff, not just a punk band after he got a taste of the rock and roll world. And now he got a rock and roll drummer, someone who's out there with guys like Fall Out Boy, MGK, Lady Gaga on the books. This guy knows rock and roll. This guy knows the big stadiums. Hell yeah. All right, Matt Skiba, are you gonna ride this Tosh Peterson train all the way to the top of the charts? I fucking hope so. Nothing but the best from the Ruthless Gatekeeper to these other bands over here. I want nothing but great records, great new music, sometimes lineup changes, sometimes fresh blood, sometimes shaking things up like that is best for everybody involved. So I hope that that's the case here. It really does seem like it. And those are the 2 lineup changes that are currently in the news right now. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to hit like and press subscribe. I really appreciate you. Okay, goodbye. See you later and have a good one.